The CDL is hotting up as we bypass the midway point of the season and get towards the business end. 3 majors down, 2 to go until the top teams in the Call of Duty League duke it out to decide the best Call of Duty team in the world. Right at the start of the season, we took a look at each team's prospects, how their rosters were looking, and how we thought they'd stack up come season's end. But now that we're well over halfway through, it's time to reevaluate. We're going to be looking at 7 key factors. Who's been choking their games? Who's been getting swept? Who's been clutching it out? Who's been absolutely killing it? Who are the dark horses? Who have been performing as expected? And who are just bad? So which teams are top of the class and which need to book their ideas up to avoid flunking it all? My name's Elliot Gray from GGRecon and this is the CDL mid-season report card. Top of the class, as expected, the FaZe boys have dominated everyone. Top of the CDL tree and bagging 2 out of 3 majors, Atlanta should be in a Call of Duty league of their own. Subliners gave them a scare, but overall they're performing as expected. They were favourites for a reason, but props should go to Simp, Celium, Abizi and Archites for living up to the hype. It's been mostly same old for Seattle Surge. They made some big changes to their roster going into 2021, and there's been flashes of potential. Gunless has looked good on occasion, and last year's shining light Octane has continued to perform. And they've already matched their CDL points total from last season, but propping up the rest of the league means they're going to have to do better. Paris Legion have been remarkably unremarkable. They haven't exactly set the league alight, but then again, no one really expected them to. They'll be right where you left them come season's end. Is the Empire really crumbling? Dallas Empire raised a lot of eyebrows when they let Hugh the Nuke go to LA Thieves, and their performance at the Stage 3 Major hasn't exactly justified their decision. They finished below their former Emperor in a dire 7th to 8th spot, and if anything, their performances have looked worse in Stage 3 after a mixed start to the season. Facing an off-colour OPTIC, they should have done better, and now they've been knocked off second in the table. Dallas need to buck up their ideas before their Empire falls for good. A fairly poor major shouldn't detract from Rocker's really decent start to 2021. They'll come back around in Stage 4, especially with Major coming into the starting lineup for accuracy. Florida are another mid-table side that did themselves proud during Stage 3. Havoc's return to the starting team has rejuvenated the Mutineers, but they won't be overthrowing the top end of the table anytime soon. Of all the teams to take the CDL by storm, Toronto Ultra weren't top of our list. In fact, we barely backed them to bother the top 6 after a difficult first CDL season. But 2021 has been far from it. A settled roster and the blazing form of the likes of Cammy and Bance have propelled the erstwhile mid-table mediocrity fodder into genuine major contenders. Topping a Stage 3 group featuring last year's champs Dallas Empire is no mean feat, regardless of any drops in form that Dallas happened to be going through. Well in Stage 2, and a fine win over OPTIC to bag 3rd place at the most recent one, Ultra are the kings in the north for now. Whether they can continue exceeding expectations is another matter entirely.
LA Gorillas have shown flashes of potential and are performing much better than they were touted to at the beginning of the season.
Taking a map from OPTIC Chicago was the highlight of their major, and they won't be propping up the league come season's end.
Overall, they get a passing grade going into Stage 4.
New York Subliners were something of an enigma at the start of the 2021 season. Having lost the bulk of their old squad, no one really knew what to expect from the side.
But it helps when you have one of the best players in the world leading the way. Three-time world champ Clayster is a contender for signing of the season, expertly coaching a team of young guns out of a difficult Stage 1
to become one of the biggest threats in the league.
The likes of Mac and Hydra have come into their own under Clayster's guiding hand, and this was never more obvious than during Subliner's spectacular dismantling of CDL leaders Atlanta FaZe in Stage 3's major.
It might have gone sour for them in the grand final, but Clayster and his team of upstarts are now second in the league. If they can make that spot their own, Clayster's CDL legacy will be secure in more ways than one. The LA Thieves could and probably should be doing better. They certainly have the squad depth to challenge the top end of the table.
But as debut seasons go, they've stolen enough hearts and CDL points to consider it a success so far.
Reliably unreliable. The UK side have been consistently inconsistent since the start of the CDL 2021 season.
We never backed them to do anything too spectacular, and they've proved us right so far.
Finishing alongside Dallas Empire in 7th and 8th spot at the last major will probably, unfortunately, be a season highlight.
The return of Alex to the lineup might herald a late Ravens resurgence, but we won't be holding our breath.
To say that OPTIC Chicago have had a mixed Stage 3 would be the biggest of understatements. The Green Wall actually had a decent start to the CDL season,
posting top 4 finishes at the first 2 majors and managing second place finishes in their group play, King Scump leading Chicago by example.
But the start of Stage 3 saw OPTIC fall off a cliff.
Losing to New York Subliners, LA Thieves and Atlanta FaZe doesn't sound terrible, but the manner of the defeats and the way they rolled over against sides they should have been beating suggested the Green Wall wasn't as solid as it first appeared.
OPTIC rallied at the Stage 3 major, Dashi in particular putting in some inhuman performances to drag his team up the leaderboard and come in at a respectable 4th place finish.
Despite a shaky stage, Chicago are within touching distance of the silver medal spot in the CDL. We always thought they'd rise to the top come season end,
but they really need to start proving us right. And there it is, GGRecon's comprehensive Call of Duty League mid-season report card. And not a single hot take among them, I'm sure you'll agree. If you do happen to disagree with any of our placements though, make sure to shout at us in the comments and tell us why.
Can Dallas Empire turn things around? Will OPTIC translate major form into group play form? Are Subliners the real deal?
Or is the championship already packing its bags for Atlanta?